Our first child was Wendell, and he was born in 1947 and lived 5 months and passed away with pneumonia. So that was a big loss. He was just a little bitty boy, very small. I think he was 5 pounds when he was born. We went over Christmas, I guess it was. We went to visit my mother and father down in the country, and he got sick with a cold. And we took him to the doctor in the hospital, and he passed away. But he was a cute little guy. So he's buried in, it's New Philadelphia, Ohio, but it's a cemetery out in the country close to my relatives. And they had put flowers on his grave for years because he's buried alongside my mother and father and their 2 boys who had passed away. So he's not alone. But we used to always visit every time we went back. Had Cheryl, and she was a beauty. She was just the most fun little kid because she was quite bright, little blonde-headed girl. Cheryl was always, in 3rd grade when I visited her teacher for parent-teacher conference, she said, Cheryl, she can be anything she wants to be. And I agree, she could have been anything. So she became a lawyer. I guess that's what she wanted to be, and got a job in, I don't know where she worked first, but got a job in New York City with Prudential Insurance and stayed there for many years. Married Chris White, and they have one son, Duncan, who will try your patience no end. And then Joyce always was very artsy. She would sit on Okinawa, she would sit in the room with the girl who was our seamstress. You had to make your clothes, you couldn't buy anything to fit there. And she would sit in there watching the seamstress sew things. And she would stay hours watching this nice little Japanese girl sew. Learned how too. She can sew pretty good if she has time. She graduated from MU, which all the kids did except Wendy. But anyway, she graduated from MU. And where did she go? Oh, right away she went to Japan. She had an interview to go to Japan, teach English to businessmen. And she took the job and went all by herself, not knowing anybody. That takes courage. I'm just so proud of all my kids because they all seem to get scholarships because they work so hard in school. When Joyce came back to the States after Japan, she went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and got a job. And she was a co-curator and has written many articles in the Met's books. And she loves art. So now she's retired from the Met. And then Martha came along, and she was a good scholar too, very good, and every one of them were so different in their studies. Went to school at MU, Mizzou, as they call it now. But of course, Martha was never satisfied with one degree. Then she went and got a business degree, and then she got a law degree, and that was from KU. So she's well degreed. So she's working for the state of Missouri as a court specialist. Probably will until she retires in a few years. Then I have Dennis. Dennis, in school, he was a very good student. He grew to be quite a tall guy and played basketball. He got a scholarship to play basketball at UMKC in Kansas City. But it only lasted 1 year. But then he went to Mizzou down in Columbia, and that wasn't good enough. So he got another degree, law degree, I think. I think he finished it all over in Kansas. So he's working at the Federal Reserve Bank now, and he's very happy in his job. He's been there a long time. So all you can say is, I think they're really happy in what they're doing. Dennis was married to Debbie, I mentioned, and they had one son, Grant. He has Aaron and John, who are Holly's daughter and son-in-law. And then they have 2 little children. Dennis sure enjoys them. Dennis and Holly have Haley. She has been for almost 20 years, just 20, yeah, the pride of our lives here because she's so close. I'm sure she'll do fine, but I have no idea what that girl will do. It's to be found out, I guess. Just like with Taylor and Kinsey. It's just going to be, I've got to live to see it. And then Marilyn, oh my goodness, Marilyn. What all did Marilyn do? She was so quiet. I never thought she'd grow up to do anything that would make you talk. But she's in Tacoma, Washington. She's a nurse. She graduated at Mizzou too. She's a nurse. She loves to cook. She loves to hike. She loves to bird watch. She's just so into wanting to do all these things. And she does them all. She's married to Charles Pergalden. And he likes to do these things also. So they make a pretty good couple for that. She loves pets. And then, must I tell you about Wendy? Wendy, oh gosh, she's the pride of my life. Wendy graduated from high school and decided she was getting married right away. And she did. And had one daughter named Guinevere. And of course, Guinevere's just like her mom too. She likes to do artsy things. Well, Wendy got into liking music so much that she got a volunteer job on a station that's nonprofit. And she's had this job for 20-some years in addition to working full time, but she puts on a show on a station every week. It was my quiet little boy, and he was sweet as he could be. He always was sweet. We'd have a birthday party for him in the backyard with all his kids. Roger graduated from Grandview High School. He had played, I think he played baseball in a little league, and then he played basketball for the high school. He was just always a good kid. There's not much you can say. He didn't do anything real outstanding, but he had lots of friends, both girl and boy. And he married Maureen Madden, and they have 4 beautiful children who are following in his footsteps and their mom's footsteps, getting all the education they can. And the only trouble is they're spreading out so far. I don't know where they're going to land. I'd like to know where they're going to go next after college. I'm sure it'll be someplace great, because I'm so proud of them. Just wish over the years we had been a little bit closer. But you have to let your kids go where they work. I think that's about the story of my family.